we've already done rhythm, melody, harmony. Our next element of music is form. Form is the way a piece of music is organized. There may be a theme that's stated in the beginning, and then some other development happens, and then that theme comes back again. So we can call that initial theme A, because we'll use letters to identify each section. The second section, which is not similar to A, we'll call that B. Then perhaps A comes back in again, and then maybe B's repeated. So we call that A, B, A, B form. There's lots of different forms, but we're going to go over some basic ones today. Repetition is the backbone of form. As I said before, you can have a theme stated in the beginning, A, something different, then repeated again, and then it's something different's repeated. So repetitions are something that we look to as far as patterns in form. The first form and the most common of the early forms is called strophic. And strophic is where the entire song is a one body of a theme, and then there's a second verse, and a third verse, and a fourth verse. An example of that is the spiritual Amazing Grace. So Amazing Grace is an example of strophic form. In the beginning it starts out, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And that's the first verse. And then it goes through the entire song. Then it starts from the beginning again with another verse. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. And then the rest of the song is played. And then we have a third verse or fourth verse. Let's see, what are the words of the third and fourth verse? Second, through many dangers, toils and snares. Or how sweet the name of Jesus sounds when we've been there 10,000 years. So there's a kind of a story for every verse. There's an idea or a theme in every verse. And there's no repetitions in it. The next form we're going to talk about is theme and variations. Theme and variations is just what it says. There's an initial simple theme that is composed, melody with harmonization. And then there's variations to that theme. For example, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We played it before. Just chords harmonizing, and that's the theme. I can do a classical rendition of that. We call that an Alberti bass. Alberti was the name of the man in the classical era that invented or developed this. So I can do Twinkle Twinkle a la Alberti. I can do it in triple meter. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, I can go 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can do it in a music box type of thing. I can do a theme in minor. So, there's many different ways that we can vary that initial theme. And composers write so many different styles and types of variations to themes. Quite interesting. The next form we're going to talk about is called a rounded binary form. And basically, it's AABB. The Christmas carol or the English folk tune, Greensleeves or What Child Is This, starts out and then it repeats that same section. To a B section. Now the B section is then repeated again. Rounded binary form. Let's see what else we have here. Sonata form. Sonata form came from some developments that occurred during the classical era. Mozart and Haydn, Clementi, Scarlatti, these were all classical composers. The classical period was very short. Wasn't that long compared to some of the other eras that we studied in our music appreciation class. But this is sonata form. It has an exposition first, meaning it has its main theme, the beginning. We're going to present to the audience the first theme. Section. Then we have what's called the development. And sometimes it's in minor, sometimes it's in a different key. So we were in C before. Now this next part, the development, is so you hear that it has a little bit different flavor to it. And then the recapitulation, the recap, which means basically what we started with, the same theme. You know, when we started in the beginning, it was then the development section, and then the recap. So that is sonata form, where it had the exposition, the main theme presented, then the development, where it gets a little funky sometimes, and then we have the recapitulation, we call it recap for short, and that is basically like the beginning again. So these are some examples of form. Anytime I listen to any music on the radio or on my iPhone or anything, I always kind of am very aware of, oh, is there a verse and then there's a refrain or chorus? There's a second verse and then there's a refrain and chorus. Oh, there's A, B, A, B. Oh, wait a minute, there's a bridge. Huh, that's something different altogether. So I can call that A, B, C, and then back to the chorus and an outro. Outro. There's the intro and the outro. So whenever you're listening to any style of music, you can see if there's repetitions in it, see if there's repetitions in the melody, in the rhythm, in the harmony, if there's rhyming with the text. A lot of times that corresponds directly to a rhyming in music. So there's a lot of different ways to approach form. But as I said, it's basically the roadmap. Following along, what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, what comes fourth. Music is, in a lot of the elements in music, there are patterns. And if we can find and lock into some of the patterns when we perform, or when we compose, or we're reading something, or listening to something, we see those patterns. We understand how math, geometry, spatial relationships are oftentimes used in presenting music. So, that's our unit on form.